Hello again. It's so nice to be again with you today, and I really hope you're doing great wherever you are. So today I have prepared a white canvas for you, and we cover these canvases with liquid white. Liquid white is an oil-based paint that is quite thin and allows us to blend colors right on the canvas instead of the palette, so it makes our life much more easy and we can achieve fantastic effects more quickly. You know, most of the times we're painting here, we're just doing landscapes, like you're walking through the woods and seeing a scene in front of your eyes. So today I want to do something different, like we're standing on top of a big rock or a mountain, a cliff or something, and we're watching things from a different angle and height. So let's just get started here and see what we can do. And I'm gonna start with a 2-inch brush and just a very small amount of Indian yellow, but very little paint here today. And to that I'm gonna add some yellow ochre, so we just brush mix those two colors, but we want very little paint. And we're probably gonna have a sun or something in our sky, but very little paint. We can always add more. So let's decide what we want our sun to be. Let's see it is just like here. And always using our crisscross strokes, you see that the color is blending with the liquid white and it's getting lighter and lighter as we're working outwards. Just like that. And now I'm gonna wash my brush, and we wash our brushes in odorless paint thinner. Just clean this thoroughly and make sure it's very dry before you put new paint on it and on canvas, because if your brush is not very dry, you're gonna end up with a very thin paint, and you really don't want to put that paint on canvas. So make sure that it's very dry. I have a brush bitter rack on the bottom of my bin here, and I just move the brush on those wires that the bitter rack has. So let's try this completely. And now we're gonna go into some phthalo blue. Small amount of phthalo blue. And make sure your brush is dry. And let's come up here. Just very little blue. Just like that. And remember that you can always add more, but I want a very light sky today. Just little by little. Just like that, just work around the yellow, but do not let each other touch yet, because we're gonna end up with a very bright green sky, and we want just a very little green hue on today's painting. Maybe it is a sunrise or something, I don't know. It's very early in the morning probably, because we're gonna do some sunrise in this season. Now we're gonna take a clean dry 2-inch brush, and let's go back for a light source and work outwards. So we're gonna take this color and make it one with the blue, but as you can see, by the time we have very little paint, we have the white underneath and the clean brush, we're not ending up with a very bright green color here. Just brush mix those on canvas, and this is where we want the liquid white to be in the right consistency and in the right amount on canvas. This is very important. Just add a little bit of liquid white on your canvas, not a very thick coat. Now very lightly just come across that end. If you think that you have not blended well, just clean your brush a little bit and go in here and just soften it a little bit. Just like that, remove the brush marks, and we'll have a very nice morning sky here. Now let's build some clouds. And I'm gonna take a number 6 hand brush today, and let's go up here and take some titanium white, as you can see, and to that I'm gonna add some yellow ochre, just a little bit of yellow ochre, and I also want some very small amount of dark sienna, very light brown color here, just a little bit, and load both sides full of paint. And let's come up here and just decide what kind of cloud we want. So we're using just the corner of the brush to do that, and we just make some basic cloud shapes here. Just move your brush, making big circles here. You can use both sides if you want. Just make big circular patterns. Just like that. You don't have to worry about a lot of things when painting with this technique, you know. And let's add another cloud somewhere in here in our sky. So I just use both sides here. And let's have another nice floater in here. Just use, as you can see, I'm just using the corner of the brush and doing circular movements like so. Just like that. And maybe another cloud in here. Who knows, who knows? Just like that. Okay. Now we're gonna blend all this, and we're gonna take a clean and dry twins brush. This doesn't have any paint at all, so what we do in order to soften our clouds is just work the bottom of those with a corner of the twins brush and just do circular patterns once again. And we're not touching the top of the cloud yet. We're just softening the bottom of it, like so. And do the same wherever you have the cloud. As you can see, the bottom is very soft just by using the corner of the brush, but the top is yet very distinct. And we do the same to all these clouds here. And you can use a different brush if you want instead of the fan brush for that. You can use even the twins brush, the ones brush, whatever makes you happy. Now let's fluff them a little bit. Just leave them up very gently. And by the time we have the liquid white, the paint moves on canvas, so we can achieve fantastic effects here. Just lift it upward, very gently with big circular movements again. And now very gently just work across those clouds. That is, we have a nice sky to play with. Just like that. Okay, I want to have some faraway, like of mountains or something, back in here. So I'm gonna use the same brush that I used for my clouds and just go into some dark sienna. And I'm gonna take some yellow ochre with that. Some more yellow ochre. And only a touch of white to that. And we're using both sides of the brush, as always. We'll have a nice brown color in here, okay? And our brush is loaded with lots of paint in here. So let's have a mountain shape back in here. Decide where you want your mountain to be. So let's come up here and just give some movement to your brush and have a nice outline here to play with. Just like so. And just filling the gaps in here. Just pull some of the outline and give some life to this mountain. Just pull some paint with your brush. You can fill the scene like so, but we're gonna come with a clean brush and give some more detail to that and make it more distinct. Maybe this mountain comes this way and gets larger in here, who knows? Just in here. And you can't go wrong with that because mountains and hills and all things in nature come in all size and shapes, so you don't have to worry about your mountain look great or without mistakes and all the edges and all these, because nothing of this exists in real life, so you don't have to worry. I'm gonna take the 1-inch brush. You can use the 2-inch brush if you want to. And let's just grab some of this paint and soften our mountain. And always remember that the mountain is always more distinct on top compared to the bottom, because there is lots of mist on the bottom of the mountain, so just make a good blending down here. And because of the liquid white, this actually looks like a mist, and this mist is gonna act like a separator here. Just work the angles here in the mountain. And as you can see, we have a very distinct top compared to the bottom. And the only thing we're doing is just pulling paint with the 1-inch brush here. And now here we follow these angles. And when we are putting highlights on these mountains, by doing these outlines with the brush that we're pulling the paint with, you can use this as a guide to your highlights. For instance, if we wanted here to have some snow or something, we would just follow these angles here, and we knew that the shadows are back here. So you can see that when you're in person with a painting, you can see that there are some indications of highlights here, but in here we don't want that. We just want some misty mountains back here. Now, something else that's very interesting is to pull a little bit of this paint here to make it look like there are faraway trees on top of this mountain. So we can just go up here and just pull very gently, have some small straight strokes here, so it looks like there are lots of trees on top of those mountains. Well, don't make those very long, we want just very short strokes here. And the paint actually moves on canvas. Okay, that's enough. Now let's make another layer, another mountain. And as we move closer to a landscape, things are getting darker, so let's just darken the color a little bit. Just added more dark sienna, some more yellow ochre. Just like that. Less white. And we'll come somewhere in here and always save the misty areas. And if you want, by keep blending, let's show this too. You can make more and more mist. The more you blend, the mistier it gets. Just like that. And let's decide where our mountain is. And I will come in here. Just make a nice outline or something. And as you can see, we have lots of mist here in the background. So our painting doesn't look flat at all. Just like that. And now we follow the same procedure. And now that this mountain is dark enough, it looks like it's closer to us compared to the one in the background. So let's add some more paint here. And you can always come back and change your mind. I want this just a little bit pointier or something, like so. That's much better for me. And I will fill in the gaps. Just like that. You don't have to have past experience in painting to do what I'm doing here. Just let your imagination free and just follow the basic instructions and the rules. It won't take you long to master this technique. Just never give up when you're doing that. Because we often run into problems because of our equipment. For instance, the consistency of the painting or the quality of the canvas and the brushes. So in case you're having a problem like that, just leave a comment and I will be more than happy to help you with that, because I want you to be successful and enjoy your time painting like that. And I really hope you're getting to learn something from these videos. Okay. Just do some basic blending in here and follow the angles of the mountain. and there is a lot of mist down here, so use a lot of pressure and just bring some color in here. And as you can see in here, we have something like a natural dark from this side because the light source is right here, so the light is coming this way and is giving us a big shadow right here, just like so. That's very easy to do. And once again, we can have some of those trees that are in the background. Very, very short strokes here. Just like that. Make sure they're straight. And if you think you're picking up lots of paint, just clean your brush on a paper towel. No big deal. You always have a clean, dry brush. It's one of the most important things. You know, carrying light paint or paint thinner on the canvas without you wanting that is probably the worst thing that can happen. And this won't work, and you will get upset and angry and think that you can't do it, but this is not true. You can really do that. So let's have some background trees here. I'm gonna use the same brush actually, have a good time with that. So let's use the same color here, and I'm gonna take some sub green to that. Some more green. This is just white, dark sienna, yellow ochre, and some sub green now. Note both sides of the ones brush, and we have both sides loaded full. Let's have some background trees here. Just, you know, I need more paint here. You know, if your paint won't stick, it's either very, very thick or you don't have enough liquid white. You know, that can happen too. And sometimes we have bad quality canvases that are actually choking the liquid white. And if you want to save money, you can just buy a cheap canvas and gesso it, you know. You can just use some gray gesso that works just great and cover the entire area, you know, the same way we do with the black gesso. And then on top of that, you can just put your liquid white and everything will be fine. Just have some background trees here. And I'm gonna have lots of different layers of those. And you can also defer the height of some. Just make them stand out a little bit, and by the time we are running out of paint, at some places we have some trees that are not as distinct as others, and that shows great depth and interest in the painting, so let that happen too. And always save the misty areas in here. Okay, just pull some paint down here, and now we want another separation, so let's take a 2-inch brush now and just tap here the bottom of those and give this a misty effect. And the more you tap, the more the color blends with the liquid white, and you have that fantastic effect. Just use a lot of pressure for that thing to happen. Just use the top corner of the brush and lots of pressure, and make sure your brush is dry. Once again, it's very, very important. Okay, now very gently, just leave that outward and remove any top marks. Now let's darken the color a little bit and have another layer. Just have some the same color. Hope you can see that. So we're having dark sienna, a little bit of Van Dyke brown, just some yellow ochre probably, just a touch of white, very, very small amount there. Okay, some more green probably. And let's see the difference between these two colors now, just give it a test. As you can see, this is the same color, just a little bit darker. Some more paint. Just save the misty area as a separator once again. This is just something very easy to do for a very first painting. So in case you're painting along, this is a very good paint to start with. And we'll just do some basic strokes just by pulling down some color like that. Just some more paint here and there. Okay. Just like so, and you can see the difference between those layers. And you know, it's very important, as I am telling you over and over again, to step back and see what you have. So let's step back now a little bit and see what we're having. This is actually leaning this way, but you know something, we can just use that as a lay of the land. Probably there is a hill or something and all those trees are on top. So probably the hill is having a curve or something. And you know, we didn't even have that scheduled, but if you want to schedule that, you can just make a big half circle in here and have a very nice effect on your painting, you know. But as we said earlier, we do not do any tracing and we just follow our heart to do things here, because in nature nothing is symmetrical or anything. So just have in mind that you can do things freely here. And now once again I'm targeting very firmly to add some mixing here. Lots of pressure. And we're not touching the top at all, we're just tapping the bottom very firmly. Lift upwards. And just remove any brush marks. Okay, now tell you what. As I told you, we want to have some big evergreen trees that are right here on the bottom of the tree, so the bottom of the painting. So let's just mix dark color here. I'm gonna have some, let's take these two. It has white on it, I don't want white on that combination of colors, so I'm just gonna take some ivory black, some Prussian blue, some Van Dyke brown here, and some sap green. Very nice dark color in here. I'm gonna add some dark sienna as well, like dark sienna. It's probably like my favorite chocolate color, you know. And just mix this thoroughly. I have a huge blob of paint here. Now let's clean the knife. And we're gonna use two brushes today. I want to show you how to do foliage and trees with the Filbert brush 2. This is number 6 Filbert brush. So let's start with that firstly. I'm gonna go into the dark color that I have here and make sure you add a lot of paint to that. A lot of paint on both sides. And you can see it's just full of paint in here, okay? So let's make some evergreen trees. Let's come in here, make a center line or something. And just use the corner of the brush. And we're gonna push upwards today. Just push upwards like that. Go back and forth, and use more and more pressure as you're going downwards. And you know, something else that's very important is to have some basic dark in here. I don't like the white, so let's take a dirty brush and get some soft green and some of my browns probably. And have a nice background for all that. So let's just fill this in, you know, because you need the dark here as a separation, but I'm still saving this light area, the misty area here. And let's come above that tree, it doesn't matter for now. Just like that, you can see we are just pulling the tree, and we can always repaint that, you don't have to worry. Here's a nice green here, and we can take some more of the brown, and just like that, add some more interest. So we're gonna return to the Filbert brush now, and repaint the tree, just that easily. and nobody will ever realize that you have that killed in between, you know? And like that we have a very effective, very nice evergreen down here. Let's make another one. Just make the center line once again, and just by using the corner of the brush, we're gonna push upwards. Same way we're doing with a fan brush. But we're just achieving a different effect here with the filbert brush. You know, the only disadvantage I find in a brush like that is it's very small and it takes a lot of time to finish a painting or something, but I want you to see something different today, so just push upwards, see? And let's have another one here. Just do this too if you want, like a more distinct tree trunk or something. Go back and forth, back and forth. And make the bristles bend so you get a very nice leafy effect. Just like that. And if there are some nice grassy areas down here, let's go to this side too, because we're gonna paint some of these trees with the fan brush too, so you can see both ways of them being done. And you know, when you're using brushes like that, you can always test them to see which of those two sides is bending better. So take your time to experiment with your equipment and find what is convenient for you. And you know, this is actually probably the third time or fourth, I don't know, that I'm doing these type of trees with a filbert brush, but as you can see, it's very, very easy to master. And you can see some very nice trees in here, and have a big one in here too. And the more you practice, the better you become, obviously. Just start with the edge of the brush and work downwards, using more and more of the brush and more pressure. And remember to leave gaps in between each branch, because we don't want our tree to look bushy and flat. We just want some air in between those limbs. Now let's have another small one in here. Lots of paint on our brush. It's very, very important. Okay. Let's make another final one. Let's have one in here. Center line. And then again, same thing over and over. And you can test both sides, as I told you earlier. Which one is bending better is one that will do the work for you better. Just like so. Now let's get back to our fan brush. We're gonna collect the blob that we have in here, because we always have a main source of paint that we are loading the brush from. So I'm gonna use a number 3 fan brush for that. I want small fine trees there today, and we have not reached the foreground yet. I want something different for the foreground, but let's just fill this in. Let's go up here, have another tree, and once again find the one side that's bending better. Lots of paint on the brush and just push. Just go back and forth. And that is, we have a very nice tree, and you can see the different shapes and variations and all those nice effects that we're getting. And you know, if you want to invest in this painting, make sure, in this style of painting, I'm sorry, just make sure that you buy high quality brushes. That's what I can advise you from my experience. Just like that. It's quite an expensive hobby, but some people are earning their living from that, and you know, you can make these things cheap here. Just be sure that you invest in something that is quite pricey, I'd say, but take good care of that so it can last. very long. For instance, the big brushes that I'm using, like the 1-inch brush or the 2-inch brush, I have them for 3 years now since I started painting, and they are in excellent condition. And this is because I'm taking care of them the right way. This is very, very important. Dry them thoroughly and clean them well, you know. And what I'm doing here is just adding tree after tree after tree. And let's have all kinds of trees in here. And this is gonna be great practice for you, I'm quite sure about that. More paint. Another big trees here. Just the corner and lots of pressure as we're going downwards. Use more and more of the brush. Just like that. Okay. Now I'll tell you something, let's fill this area with grass or something. Just push upward. And this is gonna take a lot of time with a small brush, so let's get to the big fan brush and load it full of paint. Both sides, and just come up here and just fill the seam just by pressing upwards like that. And this is excellent, excellent practice for grassy areas and tree limbs or anything. Just push like so. And always remember to build layer after layer of grass. And do not let your brush to slide in here. It's very, very important to tap and push in this technique. We never allow our brush to slide like that. And we're filling this in. You can use the other brushes if you want, but you know, I want a similar effect like the one I have on the tree, so let's just keep going with the fan brush here. More paint. Just like so, some different layers of grass areas here. Maybe there's a little valley down there, who knows? There's a whole forest in here. And you know, you can keep adding trees in here, but I just want to save some of your time. But in your painting you can add as much as you want. Or you can add different kind of trees. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And you know, it was very wise that we actually used some of the dark color before, because right now you can see that we're having some gaps in between the strokes we made, but we can still have some dark areas, and this is very, very nice to have different effects here. And this is also where we decide the lay of the land here. Okay, just bring all this together. Make sure none of your trees is just floating above the grass. Okay, now let's go with the same brush. Let's take the slightest amount of paint thinner and go into my cadmium yellow here. Just make a very nice green color to highlight those. But as you can see, it's still dark. Now this is where the fun begins. Let's just push upward like so and do layer after layer after layer and add a lot of interest in our painting. Some nice grassy areas down here. And make sure you bend the bristles when you're doing that. This is how we'll be getting the grass effect. What we actually do is just let the bristles to open up and have this nice effect on the canvas. And by the time we're using firm paint here, we're gonna have this nice grass effect. And if your paint won't stick here, just add a little bit of paint thinner. But as you can see, I want this a little bit dark, you know. Lots of shadows going on here. More paint. Okay. Just fill this in with some nice grass. And as I said before, this is a very nice painting to start with, also because it requires very limited equipment. And if you don't have a filbert brush, just go and paint with your fan brush or something. And you don't have to have both sizes of the fan brush, just use one of two if you want. And of course, in your home you have unlimited time, so just do things at your own pace and convenience. Okay, let's move forward now. This is the basic thing that we want to do, but I want things differently today, as I said. So let's say that we are standing on top of a rock and we're just on the same height as the mountains we're seeing in the background. And it's also natural to see trees this way. So let's have some big trees that we cannot see their bottom. So we're gonna have some tree trunks that are actually moving out of the canvas today. And for that I'm gonna remove the green from my big brush here, number 6 fan brush. And actually I have this dirty, so I'm gonna use that. You can use both if you want. Now let's return to the dark color and just load it both sides here. Add some more Van Dyke brown to that. I want some more brown to this one. Now both sides here. And this is where we want a lot of details because these trees are actually in front of us. Now let's start from the very top and make something like that. And this is actually where the tree is coming away from the painting. Just like that. And we have lots of shadows in here. So we want our color to be very, very dark. Let's add another tree somewhere in here. Just make it a little bit thinner, that's all I want. And the only thing we are doing is just pulling down with some paint in our brush, just like so. Let's have another one. I want to have a big one in here. Big tree, right in front of the mountain. But we know the mountain is there, and this is where we are also getting depth. Just fill this in nicely. Now let's remove some of the excess paint of the brush. And we're gonna collect the paint again. These are just little tricks that will save you paint and money. Okay, now let's go to the other side. So I want some smaller trees that are probably standing this way. Let's have a big tree right here, like so. And another one in here maybe. And let's go on this side too. Okay. Now let's do something very different. You know, when you're standing very close to some evergreens like them, you can see lots of very, very small branches and stuff. So let's add all these, try to add some interest to these trees that are very close to us. So we're gonna take lots of paint thinner with our liner brush and go to this very dark color that we're using. And as you can see in here, the paint is very, very thin. It actually runs down the palette, so just twist your brush in here and get a very nice sharp point and come up here and just add some limbs and branches and stuff like that. Just give life to those trees. Just like that. And by the time we're not seeing the bottom of the tree, we can keep adding limbs like that. And we don't know where they're actually going. Just use thin dark paint here and lots of things will pop up. Just add them randomly in here. And do that to every tree, you know, you can just go like that. This is a new way of doing the branches of the trees. Just go in here and just pull upwards and make those limbs bigger and bigger and thicker while you're working downwards. Just like that. No, because these limbs are the ones we have here in the background that are making the curve on the tree. So make sure you add a lot of them. And then we will come over with more dark paint and add the leaves. Okay, just like that. Add some more interest. Just like so. And we have a very nice evergreen tree here. Now let's go to the one in the center. Let's have the same thing to both sides. And you never run out of things to add here. Some of those branches are small, some are bent. Just like that. Always keep your paint thin. And go to the other side too. I hope you find this interesting and add that kind of highlight on your paintings. They're just looking like horns now, but later on they will be looking like actual branches. And not all of them are gonna show in our painting, you know, we're just gonna have to save some. I'm just gonna throw them much quicker, you know, just to save some of your time. Just like that. And of course, if you want, you can use more imagination and add more details on such limbs and stuff. Just like so. And the same thing here. Okay. And we have one last tree, so we're gonna make some with the filbert brush and some with the fan brush. So we do the same separation as we did earlier. And as I said in the first episode of this season, most of these paintings are inspired from photos that I found online. And this is actually a photo, and I had a friend at work that couldn't tell which one was the photo, but you know, this is kind of exaggeration, but that means we can achieve very nice realistic effects using this technique. Okay, so let's clean off the thin paint on my palette. And we're gonna concentrate on the dark color. Let's make some more because we're running out of it. Just remove the thin paint. Okay, so we're just adding some more black, blue and browns. And some green, okay? Okay. Now we're gonna take, let's start with the filbert brush again as we did earlier. And just load both sides full of paint. And let's go up here, and we're actually doing the same thing like we did here in the middle of the painting. So let's come up here and add some leaves like that. Just let the brush bend. Having very nice leaf indications here. And we're actually going to put some highlights on those. Just push upward like that. Add some more paint. And like so, we have a very nice big evergreen here in our foreground. And don't forget that we cannot see the bottom of the tree, so in here it's going to get very dark and bushy, so we're going to come above our grass that we made earlier and just going to keep adding dark color, like so. It's very nice to leave some open areas in here to see that the tree is airy and not very bushy. Let's do the same thing. Let's come in here in this big one. I like this one. Give it some character. Just push upward. And by the time we have the limbs as guidelines, we know where to push with our filbert brush and add the leaf indications. Just push like that. Add more paint. And push upwards using a lot of pressure. And you know, some of this side of the tree is very dark, and this actually works in our favor because the highlight is coming from this side. So this side we want darker, okay? So this just happens on its own once again. And down here we want lots of dark. Use a lot of pressure and a lot of paint for that. Just like so. Okay, so let's make another one. And we're gonna go in this one probably. Just push upward. Same way we're doing with the fan brush. We're just having a different effect here because of the shape of the filbert. Some nice evergreens that are very close to us. Okay, just like so. Now let's take the fan brush. Same technique over and over. And this is the number 3 fan brush. You can use the number 6 if you want. But let me try with the number 3. So we're going in here and just do this. Isn't that just amazing? And you have hardly anything to worry about that tree because everything is happening automatically. What you're doing is just push upward with your fan brush here. Just like so, go back and forth and add more pressure. And add some dark down here. Okay, more paint. And go to this tree now. Just the corner. Always remember to leave gaps in between. Because most people are just pushing the whole tree and you can't see anything in here, just a triangle, and this is not what we want. If you look at pictures, you can see that there are gaps in between each of these trees, so we want to achieve that in our paintings too. Yet again, if you are happy with your triangle trees, you can just throw them in, nothing can stop you. And just come in here too. Some more evergreens here living. Nice leaves. Just push upward, bend the bristles, and do not allow your brush to slide. It's very important to push upward. Just like that. Okay, now let's make the highlights. I have the other fan brush dirty, so let's do that first. I'm gonna thin down my pen a little bit so it sticks easier. Some sap green to that would be a good idea. some yellow ochre. And let's return to the big trees here that we made with a fan brush and just go above the dark indications and add some light. Some nice highlights on those trees, but not too much because there is a lot of shadow here and lots of dark indications. Just let the bristles do the work for you and the colors blend. Okay, let's go to the other tree now, and it's this one here. Like so. Just a little bit more of a paint thinner, some more paint. And let's go to this side too. Now the light source is right here, so let's have some highlights on this side. Okay. Just like so. And that is, we have some nice trees now. Let's do the same thing with the filbert brush. Remove most of the thick dark paint here. Get some paint thinner and just go in here in our cadmium yellow with the greens. And we have this nice green color because we already have some dark in here. The background color we use for the trees. So let's go to our trees here and just push upward. Dark green color. And as I told you earlier, this brush is very nice and effective. It's just very, very slow because of its size. And if you watched last week's episode, we used the Big Twins brush to paint most of the things we did, and it only took us some minutes. But it's always nice to use all of our equipment here, so that's why I'm using the filbert brush in that season too. Now let's see to the other big tree now. More paint, and we come up here. And make sure you bend the bristles. Have this nice leafy effect. Some paint thinner. Just do this over and over. So when you learn to do one type of tree, you can do any type of tree with any brush. You can do this with other leafy trees and use other brushes for that. And you know, in here, the highlights we're adding are actually used like a separation between the background grass and the trees. So make sure you just put the highlight correctly here. Just like that. And another final tree. Just like so. But you know something? You won't only get those trees in that kind of scenery. Just finish this tree with me and let me tell you something. You know, I just want to have probably another tree or two. We have 6 trees here, so let's make them 9. So I'm gonna remove most of my light color here from the filbert and return to my dark color here. Let's have another tree. Maybe have another tree in here. That's going outside the painting, like that. Just give it some life. Like so. Now let's have another small one right here. No, I want this peak to be saved. Let's come this way. Like so. And now let's make the branches as we did earlier. It's always the same process. But this is what adds interest to our painting, the several layers that you're gonna have in there. And make different variations in our limbs here. I just want this to be a little bit different than the others. Probably a different kind of tree or an evergreen that has more character, you know. Just like that. Like so. And you're wondering that I have only 8 trees while I promised 9. This is because I'm gonna have a big one in here. I want something different. So let's make some more dark color because we're gonna need it for our leaves. And this is once again all of our dark colors, the browns and some black and some green here. No big deal. And you know, it's quite wise to make a huge blob right from the start, because this actually saves time and you never throw away the paint. If you have some leftover paint, you can just put it on aluminum foil and the freezer and use it the next time, so you never throw paint away. So let's come up here and have some nice leaf indications in here. Just like so. Maybe there is some of its foliage is coming just in front of the other tree, so it pushes it back somehow. Just like that. And now to the other tree too. Let's have some nice leaves on top of this big trunk here. And I'm gonna go into my fan brush with the highlight on and just come up here, put some highlights. And if your pen won't stick, once again, thin it down a little bit. And in here I prefer paint thinner because liquid white is going to brighten up my color a lot. And I want things very dark in here mainly. Just like so. Now let's do something interesting. I'm gonna go with the same color, just add some Van Dyke brown here. Let's have something like a birch tree or something in here. So let's have a big trunk in here like so. Make it very thick. And you know, if you have noticed in photographs and stuff, we always have something like a huge tree right in front of us. Of course, if you do not want this tree, you can leave it out. But I find it very interesting. Okay, now let's add some small limbs on that. Thin down the same paint. This is actually the dark color we just made with just a bit of Van Dyke brown. Let's have a huge lip in here, so it probably comes from outside the painting, like so. And we want to be brave when we're doing that and make all those nice little things on this tree. Maybe there is another trunk in here, I'm sorry, a limb. So let's just do this and put some nice indications, like so. And maybe add, you know, you can constantly see things in here, so let's just have some arms in that, like so. Now I'm gonna take the filbert brush and return to my dark paint like that. Go both sides, and let's add a lot of leaves up here. Just like that, very, very bushy, very, very nice, like so. And we're gonna have some from this side too. And we need to highlight this tree. Let's take some white, some titanium white, and just take some of the Van Dyke brown, some of the dark sienna. But I want some dirty color here. And just get our little roll of paint. And let's come this way and add some nice highlights. Just pull like that, make a circular sort of movement, but add no pressure at all. And this is one of the nicest ways to make this kind of tree, kind of a birch tree here. And just give it a little pull with a circular movement, like so. And you need to do the same thing from the other side. And just go from this side too. Circular movement and no pressure. Absolutely no pressure in that. Just like so. And now we're gonna return to the Feel Good brush and just add some more of those leaves just on top, just like that. And this arm wants some leaves too, just here and there to add some interest. And don't kill all those small branches here, because these are the ones that are adding interest to your painting. Okay, something like that. And remove most of these dark color and return to my yellow. Very, very dark green color here. Then it down so it sticks. And just add some highlights. But not too many, because there are lots of shadows on those trees. Just lots of shadows. And of course, if you wanted, you could use the fan brush, but I find this one better for what I'm doing. So I think with that, we have just came to the finish, to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed us doing something different like that, and I really hope you give it a try. So until next week, happy painting and take care. Thank you very much for watching.